The You're Still Here podcast is proudly slash semi not proudly brought to you by Vicks Vapor Rub, a company that makes cream that makes you feel better. You put it on yourself. But do you want to know what their new slogan is? That my friend just texted me about yesterday? Maybe it's because they're in partnership with this show. They came out and said sniffing is believing. I just got this text yesterday.
Up.
Do you imagine they have the audacity to send me a cease and desist?
Get Vicks Inhaler for fast relief.
If there's some Vicks employee who's been watching these videos and say, oh, that's a good, and you're just taking it up the ranks. I'm not one of these. I'm wearing it. This shirt, I can prove predates whatever sort of patent that you put in.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, you cannot make me return these shirts if they were out before it. Sniffing is believing is meant for sports gambling and sports gambling only. Nobody's thinking, oh, yeah, Vicks Vapor Rub, sniffing is believing. No, they hit a 4-game parlay. That is sniffing is believing, and that is back on the table because we are in September and we have football going on. Opening night of NFL just happened. We are theoretically past that point where we've been saying this whole summer, we're almost there, we're going. Well, we got there, but not really, because you knew summer had to give us that last scare. It could not be hotter. It could not be hotter. A couple of weeks back when I told you about the magical fifth dimension Malibu weather, this is the polar opposite.
Oh, it's the dog days, man.
If it says 82 outside, it's 136. This is the hottest, muggiest few day stretch, and it's the only thing that could have potentially taken away from the thrills of opening night. I watched with Mr. Papagiorgio last night, and you're probably wondering, like, I don't get it. Football's been on for borderline 2 weeks now. Why are you not?
Yeah.
Well, you should have been excited. And that is because I'm not a college football guy. I'm willing to say we are not college football guys.
No, sir.
And I get it. It's a conundrum. It's the college football, pro football conundrum.
I get it.
We could not enjoy the NFL anymore. We have bets in. We love fantasy. We love the drafts. We love talking football. We love sending each other clips. College football, we don't care at all. I know more about those sorority houses that we were sending dances from and then the jobs that entails than any sort of college.
I mean, you have like 80 guys on a team. There's 100+ teams out there.
I'm going to say something pretty embarrassing. And for anybody who like trusts any of my NFL opinions, you're probably going to say, come on, this can't be true. But don't forget, Ryan Tannehill did not know who was in the AFC East when he was drafted to it. An NFL quarterback drafted pretty high. Was he first round?
Yes, sir.
Ryan Tannehill did not know the divisions in the NFL. I still do not understand the absurd divisions in college. There's the SEC. We know that. That's the big guy. I can tell you those LSUs, the Alabamas,
they're moving.
Georgia.
Every other week they're moving.
But then once you get outside of there, there's a Big 10 and a Big 12.
Yeah.
What? Just put those things together.
The Big 22. That's what they need. The Big 22.
That's what it should be. The Big 22.
And the Pac-12 now is down to 2 teams, I believe, after a couple of years.
They have it right. And the funny thing is, how do you just secede from the union? Remember like 10, 12 years ago, you heard in the Johnny Manziel documentary, the Texas A&M, then they just joined the SEC. What the hell is this? Yeah. You can just absorb. It's just like the English Premier League, demotions and promotions.
I mean, SEC is the big one.
I just don't understand. I do get that the SEC has these very good teams, but I'm not going to speak for the both of us, but these are some of the reasons I hate college football. Number one, there's no salary cap that kind of evens the playing field. You're one of these teams who has the inside track on the best players. You're stacking the best players. It's like having a DraftKings lineup with unlimited salary, and the other guy has to choose only 4,000 and under. And then I'm supposed to be impressed when the offensive line is just destroying people from these smaller schools. So that's number one. Number two is there's like Michigan and Ohio State, biggest rivalry supposedly, bigger than Yankees. It's the biggest rivalry in the country. Yeah, who else is in that division? And which is that, the Big 10 or the Big 12?
I don't know.
And I'm not some
I don't have the
cheerleader, man.
slightest
I can
clue.
tell you every single team in every sport, every division. This should not be this confusing.
The
Okay?
only thing I know in college right now is Dion.
Yes, that's obviously the big
That's
story.
all I know. Dion.
And he took over Colorado. And who do they play? What conference is that? Is
I
that
don't have a clue,
is that
but they
Big
were
West?
just
Are they playing
21
USC in
point
them?
underdogs to TCU.
TCU.
I mean, TCU is a pretty goddamn big football school.
I do know that. Andy Dalton. I believe they made it to
The
the
Horned
national
Frogs.
championship. Yeah, it's some sort
Fort
of this.
Worth,
And they got
Texas.
crushed.
Yes.
Isn't Boise State in something called like the Mountain West?
I don't even
I mean,
know.
this is bullshit.
I've seen that place. They still got that blue field.
Yeah. I like that, though, that they pay fines or something annually. It's just there are too many reasons I don't like these college games. And I guess the counter is, but like it's the best football. Like they care the most. No, I'm sorry. When I watch on Sunday, those guys can be cut at a moment's notice and their whole life can be thrown out the window the way the league is structured. And you're seeing unbelievable stuff. That's another thing. When I watch college football, I'm like, oh, crap, he's open. And they'll just drop catches that are difficult catches. But the NFL is so talent-laden that they're doing these sideline catches spinning, and everyone's doing them.
Unless you're Kadarius Toney this week.
Or Sky Moore.
Or
Unless
Sky
you're
Moore.
a member of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes.
Which was
The most potent offense. No.
Las Vegas is celebrating tonight. There's a lot of people and a lot of boardrooms in Las Vegas because obviously nobody's going to bet against Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes lost in that first game, and not the GOAT. Was that an old saying? If somebody was like the villain of the game,
Mm-hmm.
didn't it used to be called the GOAT before the GOAT became the greatest of all time? Like he was the GOAT, like Bill
He was
Buckner?
the GOAT, yeah. I think so.
This is something for you to look up.
I mean, that's
on
we
your
might
own
sound
time.
pretty
It's-
stupid not knowing this, but I feel like, yeah.
I feel like it was the GOAT.
Oh, you were the GOAT.
You were
of
the
that
GOAT of the
situation.
game. And now
You were the GOAT.
now it's
you're like,
the
oh my
polar
God, yeah.
opposite. And I love how greatest, which is singular, is just everybody. If somebody makes a great play, he's the GOAT. No. If you want to say Brady's the GOAT, you can't have all these GOATs out there. It's greatest.
A lot of GOATs.
Singular. The opposite of what Kadarius Toney portrayed out there. Now, supposedly, I cannot verify this because there are just accounts that they just kind of post fake stuff. So you might want to double check. But from the last thing I saw,
Not on the internet. No way.
Kadarius Toney deleted his Twitter because apparently he was pretty brazen in talking shit on the Giants ever since he'd been traded because he won the Super Bowl and now he's like one of the receivers. So apparently he was talking shit
Mm-hmm.
in these last couple of months. And on Twitter, there was probably there are so many mentions that it almost makes it easier just to kind of not view them. You know, when your email inbox gets to a point where it's like, oh my God,
Forget it.
yeah, it's
Delete all.
not at 65.
Delete all. I'll restart.
Yes, it's a 5,000 unread emails, and you delete them all. And that's the little predicament that Kadarius Toney finds himself in.
Probably better
on
off
Twitter.
not having Twitter. Just worry about catching a goddamn ball.
Well, you just showed me Jared Goff's Instagram.
Oh my God, what a great post. I hope you're going to pull that up
I'll pull up.
because that is just excellent.
I'd say that does the trick. That'll do it. Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, I'd say that'll do it. Yeah, I'd say that would do it. Yeah, yeah, that'll help a little.
That is a classy way to celebrate a win and not really troll the opponents too much. Like
Yeah.
if you're on the Chiefs, he's not saying anything about your team.
Oh my God.
That's just it's a funny thing to
Insert
upload. So
here.
you just got to be careful if you're talking trash as one of these
Sure.
athletes, you know, because then you could find yourself in a little Logan Paul pickle. You know, that's a live by the sword, die by the sword
Oh,
kind of
God.
thing. He made a career from the YouTube videos and really getting the most out of trolling. And then
He's
his
getting
podcast,
trolled.
very good. Everything. I am a supporter of what the guy does. And also a completely different side note. I was sent his clips from the last WWE pay-per-view. I'm a lifetime wrestling fan. Well, until I was a teenager, and then I gave it up.
Until we grew up.
I watched ton of wrestling, and Logan Paul, his moves were top notch. He
Really?
was high flying.
This
and he's
is the
not
first
light.
I'm hearing because I haven't asked. I haven't seen any
I will
of
send
it.
you a compilation. I was
Wow.
borderline jaw drop.
Who would you compare him to?
Dude, he was as high flying as like one of the freaking Hardys, but he's big.
Jesus, the Hardy
He's
Boys.
doing stuff in mid-air collisions, rope to rope. Okay, imagine somebody on the turnbuckle, somebody else on the other turnbuckle, flying at each other in midair and doing a cross-body drop at each other. That's
Jesus.
crazy. And he did it. I mean, when you saw Rock and Cena fight like 6 years ago at WrestleMania, they couldn't breathe. They couldn't breathe. It'd be one Samoan drop.
Oh my God.
So I have to give him credit on that front. I have really nothing to, I don't know. I've never really seen him talk too much shit. I wasn't there for the younger years where he like showed some
I really
dead
don't
body
pay
on
attention to
YouTube
either
or
one of
something.
those.
When these YouTubers were getting big, I guess it was the equivalent of TikTokers getting big now. I don't know what's going on in most of that TikTok world, but he is mostly fine. But you know that him and his brother, they do this celebrity boxing thing. Obviously, the Jake Paul fights grab headlines, but Logan Paul fought Floyd Mayweather, and now he's fighting this MMA fighter-ish, because this MMA fighter hasn't even really fought in a long time. And he's boxing, this guy Dylan Dennis is boxing Logan Paul, and he's decided to fully go off on Logan Paul's girlfriend, who you can see on the TV behind me. And
Nina Agdal.
I gotta say, it's pretty hilarious. The whole like live by the sword, die by the sword. Hey, you made a name for yourself by trolling online. This guy, he's posting a picture of Logan Paul's fiance, Nina Agdal, that you see over there, of every guy that she's been with. But the funny thing is, obviously, she hasn't been with every single guy. There are people at a party, and you smile, take a picture.
With LeBron James,
and he's insinuating. He's posting a suggestive picture, insinuating that she's been with all these guys, and then he's doing a full bunker search of any sort of Snapchat videos, Instagram stories, ones that don't even exist anymore, that paint her in a scandalous,
horrendous light,
kind of light. And I'd be lying if I said that it wasn't funny, because they're not even remotely close on the popularity scale. The interesting thing is Logan Paul's probably going to kick his ass. This guy this guy's not even a stand-up fighter. He's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy, meaning one of those
so
on the
I feel
floor.
like he could take him down and
it's boxing. You're not allowed to.
Oh,
it's just boxing.
this is just boxing.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
He's probably going to get his ass kicked, but he will, I guess, make decent money. He might need that money because apparently he's getting sued.
Oh, yeah.
We just found, I mean, once again, you got to have to verify these online
of course. Everything
news
is
things
verified,
yourself. I don't know for certain. But
nobody's verifying shit.
The guy is being sued by the girl.
Yeah. They claim that he posted despicable things about her more than 250 times since his fight with Paul was announced earlier this summer.
I mean,
she suffered humiliation, emotional distress, and reputational harm.
Are there laws against
She says
posting?
that one of these posts, I don't know which one, was August 11th, violated federal and state laws.
Without stating
this is
which
over
ones?
this fight. It was ridiculous.
Well, people will do anything to sell a fight. People will do anything to sell a YouTube video. You see some of these thumbnails out there where it looks like somebody's winning the Mega Millions jackpot, and they just kind of, it's some trivial video where some shoes came in the mail. They'll do anything to get you.
Yeah.
And I think the same kind of thing applies with what's going on with this fight. I got to say, those kind of fights, they don't get me.
Are you gonna get it?
I have never paid and will never pay for a gimmick pay-per-view.
Okay, are they going to get your eyes on it? You're going to watch these two?
Yes, I've watched the Jake Paul fights. I mean, it's a tale as old
Are
as
you
time.
rooting for Jake Paul?
His last fight was against Nate Diaz. That was just kind of funny.
Was it Nate Diaz? That was the other brother.
Oh, Logan Paul doesn't really fight a lot. His last was against Floyd Mayweather. That's funny. The problem is Logan isn't hated as much as like Jake Paul plays it up to have
Yes.
people hate him and everyone root against him. But then he fought this other guy in the law. It's just, I don't know. It's just I think it's something that's going to run its course and eventually. However, Jake Paul did say his next fight's going to be against Nate Diaz in MMA.
Oh,
And I would love to watch that.
yeah.
I would love
like
to
to
watch
see
that.
that.
I mean, it would be over in a few minutes, right? He'll
Think
just put him
so?
in an arm bar or something like
Oof.
that. Rear naked choke.
I don't
He's
have a clue about
He's
that.
choked out people in the UFC. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
he's going to be able to choke out the Paul brothers. But anyway,
Choking out the Paul brothers.
with that said, I think this awful stretch of weather, these last couple days of beyond extreme humidity, this is the last scare that you get in a horror movie, what I like to call the Billy Loomis last, gasp and scream.
Oh,
And I'm
God.
convinced once we hit the middle of next week, we're good straight up. I saw a video today. This guy said there are like 8 periods throughout the year. He stole some of my material where
I break the year up into 8 different phases. Today is the start of phase 6.
so he breaks the year down into 8 parts, ultimately to get the 8th part being the Lingerer's Paradise, aka the week between Christmas and New Year's.
Oh,
With this, it's nothing.
Yeah.
You're on standby the same night with no new things on TV, like hardly any sports. You don't know what to do. It's a holiday season. It's cold outside, and each day just keeps going. So he was talking about that, but when he described this part of the year, and he said, I don't care that summer technically goes till September 20th or whatever.
oh,
It's fall.
shit.
And I agree with that. That when we were kids, I mean, you go back to school,
That's it. Fall is
over.
here.
it's over.
Before you know it, people will be watching scary movies that I won't be watching. Going
Well,
trick-or-treating, which I wasn't doing.
I do know for a fact before Labor Day, you started to see those
I just
Halloween
saw
things.
one.
And
Just saw one up the block. It's there.
I think it's whatever holidays you can monetize, get the majority of the time now. They're skipping Thanksgiving. You're not seeing any sort of Thanksgiving commercials or anything.
Oh,
like
they're
that.
gonna,
It's going,
yeah,
It's
man.
going Halloween right to Christmas.
Oh no, they need Thanksgiving.
You think so now?
Cost of food is a fortune. These supermarkets are pumping Thanksgiving. Kidding me? Pumpkin pie, pecan pie everywhere. They're pumping everything. Selling turkeys by the trillions.
Well, those family get-togethers, depending on how big those dinners. I don't know who cooks
me.
for your dinners, but it reminds me of something that I wanted to talk about. I got clearance to talk about this. What I think is a hilarious conundrum, and that is one of my good friends. He has a sister who dates people who, let's just say, doesn't choose the best guys. Chooses Jake Pauls and Logan Paul. Chooses some bad boys.
Bad
Those
boys.
guys. Yeah, I just sounded like Colin Cowherd, playa. Yeah, but chooses your stereotypical guy that you wouldn't technically want your sister dating. Not choosing the best guys. So he told me he had good news, is that she met a really nice guy. The bad news is that he's some 42-year-old guy, which is a much older guy. I think she's like in her mid-20s or something like that. And it's a conundrum that you have to deal with, because apparently so many people are scumbags now. Even if you go on TikTok, I've mentioned this. Every video is about guys hating girls. Girls, actually, it's just girls hating guys, and then the guys get their videos suppressed. But this guy is dating my friend's sister, and the funniest part that I just can't get out of my head. So she lives with her parents, and the guy randomly will stay over here and there. And when he told me that,
Jesus.
the thought that was in my head immediately was the guy making a bowl of cereal in the
man.
morning, and the dad being there. Two
Hey,
dads.
good morning. Both grumpy because they're both old.
Yeah.
Not a big age difference.
He might have more in common with the dad than his girlfriend.
He surely does.
When I talk to you about that split screen from the Insidious movie of the old man and the father and his son getting up in the middle of the night and walking to the bathroom. That 42-year-old man is grumbling like that old guy. He's way closer to the father than he is. I mean, he may be a father for all we know. I never asked. But just the thought of the girl's dad with the coffee.
Right?
I mean,
that's an interesting morning.
That's just sheer comedy. You
that
want a
is
sitcom?
I'd like to know
watch.
the situation, how they live, what is up.
Do they golf together? You know how sometimes
God.
if a girl's boyfriend is, not too far away from her brother's age or something, who knows? Maybe the brothers will play FIFA or something like that. They'll do something.
Sure.
But because this guy's closer to the dad's, are they going out doing a dad activity?
Oh my God.
Are they going to play a couple rounds?
I mean, that might actually be nice. I'm spending time with your family. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, honey.
Guy wants to golf. I'm trying to be a good son-in-law, That's a good excuse, actually. I should be looking for that in a partner.
Would you actually, if you had a girlfriend like this, she asked you like, "Oh, come spend the night. My parents don't care."
I mean, I couldn't do it. I'd rather go get a hotel room. I don't give a shit where I gotta go. I'm not going there. I'll go anywhere to avoid having to wake up to her parents. I'm almost 40 years old. I can't wake up to her parents. And I don't look near 40. I look near 50. They're going to be like, what the hell is my daughter doing?
I would pay to see that Truman Show style. Absolutely, man. That is.
Watch me come down the stairs.
You? I just sent you that. I texted you that video before of Tony Soprano asleep in the shower.
Yeah. That was a big move.
True or false? My memory, it tells me that when we were younger, you told me when you woke up, your process was you'd actually get up, stand up, walk to the bathroom, and then sit on the toilet and fall asleep again. Like that was your snooze button.
Yep. Turn on the shower like I was in there, sit on the toilet, put my head down, right to sleep. Barely even opened my eyes.
That's fantastic, man.
Once I got a knock on the door, then I had to jump in, do the thing.
Matthew!
Yeah.
You really need to start acting like Kelly's 42-year-old boyfriend and get up on time.
Oh, God.
What if that...
Could you imagine trying to rush that guy, the father? I'm in a rush. Yeah. Rush him along in the morning.
I'm picturing that guy being up before the parents. They're all up at 6 a.m. together as the girl is sleeping in.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
Having breakfast with the folks. I
Breakfast.
mean, that's like a 14-year difference, you're saying.
As you know, I don't mind big differences. However, I think I'd have to lie to the parents about they need to think I'm younger. I'm coming in there.
I mean, I could never. Nobody's believing shit.
Well, I mean, you probably saw some of those type of much older You just went to the U.S. Open, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you saw some interesting relationships there.
Very interesting.
Yeah, you're seeing influencers there. You're seeing that upper crust of society.
The upper crust, for sure.
What was it like there?
Golden crust up there, I'll tell you that. It's beautiful. Everybody's very fit. Everybody's very tall.
It's like everyone's wearing white.
Yeah, a lot of white, a lot of light colors. With this build, I go dark, so I stand out like a sore thumb.
And it's more of the way you were describing it. It's the reason I don't want. I'm going to go sit in this stadium just to watch people. But the way you made it sound is like more of a festival.
It's incredible. There's bars everywhere, restaurants everywhere, express drink bars. You like Aperol Spritz? They got express bars. Honey Deuce, which is their big drink out there. Excellent, refreshing. You'll drink 1,000 of them if you got money because they're $22 a piece. It's absurd out there.
And who's that Jack chick that you were watching that night? Or was that last night that she left? I don't know. There was some Jack chick who was...
There's plenty of them there. That's for sure.
So you would suggest
courtside.
Your average person is going to have a good, because none of us have been to U.S. Open our whole life. So now all of a sudden,
I know. I had a friend of ours convince me to go, and it was one of the coolest things I've ever done. You get to sit courtside, watching incredible people literally 5 feet away from
Well,
you.
look, if you need a 42-year-old to go with who might enjoy some tennis, I'm going to put in a call for you. He might go to the next
see if
event
his
with you.
father-in-law wants to go too. Just gotta ask him.
All right, so I will go on and tell you about something. You've been hanging out with the dog. We've been hanging out with the dog a little bit.
Oh yeah,
It's
the best.
A couple funny things that I noticed. Number one, my dog's a very clingy dog. Like, he'll always want to hang around you. It's so weird. Like, he'll follow me to the bathroom. And when I start pissing, when he hears the piss hit the water, he walks out. It's like he knows I'm pissing.
Oh, this is his private time.
It's amazing. It's so weird. He follows
I
me to the
didn't know
bathroom.
you were doing that in there.
He doesn't know what I'm doing when I'm unzipping my pants, but then when he hears that sound, he turns and walks out the door.
He knows that sound. He hears that sound himself.
It's pretty unbelievable. But when I was walking my dog, that's when I came across this week's scam of the week.
It's a scam.
That's a scam.
What a scam that was.
So this was all a scam, huh?
It's pretty brilliant. When I'm walking the dog, I'm always worried about landscapers. I'm always like, what are they putting on the damn grass?
Sure,
but apparently
fertilizers,
you're supposed to
pesticides.
exactly. If you lay that stuff down, you're
Yeah, you
supposed to
gotta
put
put
one of those little tags.
tag, yeah.
Well, some people hate when dogs are on their property at all times. I'm convinced every time I walk by this house, they have the pesticide thing
They're
there.
constantly
just to
chemical.
keep people's nuts. But there's not. They don't even have landscapers.
I got chemicals out there, pal.
They leave the chemical signs up to keep people's dogs off their property, probably because there was one shitter who never had the stuff cleaned up, and then that drove people because, I told you about John the Can Man. I take out my recyclables at 2 separate times. People are very petty. They'll do things if they feel like they're being slighted out there by somebody else, especially on their own property. And I surmise that it's the dog pesticide scam where people are putting on fake toxic, and
Keep that
these
dog
signs
off
look
my
scarier.
lawn.
These signs look scarier than the little one. It was like toxic chemicals.
Will die. Stay off.
One sniff will
You
kill.
want to burn your paws? Get out of here.
And I found that while I was walking the dog.
That's pretty interesting. I wonder if you took those signs, they wouldn't be able to replace them until the people came back for more.
I will say,
Might want to do it.
do people tier their? Do they take the dog for fewer walks when it's miserable out, or is that just me?
Everybody.
Like, are you supposed to
Oh,
keep?
everybody's doing that.
I
They
can't.
invented something a wee pad because think of like the city. How many people are not going out there in a miserable
Oh,
snowstorm?
I think it should be illegal.
Places like that, like
It should be illegal to have a dog in New York City.
well, you got to have a certain amount of square feet, maybe. So it'd be like 10 dogs in the city.
They take them for a walk, and there's smoke and nuts coming out there like the
Smoke
sound.
and nuts. That's what you're concerned about.
But
They're smelling roasted nuts out there. This is absurd. They are seeing horses carrying people. What are they doing? They're smelling
nuts.
hot dogs. It's driving them crazy out there.
They have a very. I opened the cabinet in the kitchen last week, and the dog came by, and he actually went. It was the ammonia and everything in there was too strong. He walked away from it. Imagine New York City. Those smells that you're getting. Those nuts are
I'm
strong.
loving those
By the
smells
way,
out there.
Do you know those nuts
I'm
I'm
like a
talking about?
bloodhound in the city.
You know the nuts I'm talking about? Like
yeah,
those,
yeah, the hot nuts.
Who's
They're
buying
everywhere.
those? I've never seen someone say, "Hey, one order of roasted nuts."
Probably been, I think, maybe 5 years ago. I got roasted nuts out there when I was at the tree. That's the only time you got to get it.
But you smell it every time. Who's ordering roasted nuts in Manhattan? I get the gyros
It's
and
the tourists.
what's the street meat stuff that
The halal chicken.
habab?
Yeah,
Oh.
the halal. The habab. It's a kebab you're thinking about.
Halal and kebab.
Yes, yes.
Hey man,
Halal, man, you make a new one. There you go. You got a cart.
Well, you know my idea.
Roasted nuts and halal
Were
all
you
day.
for or against my idea, the breakfast burrito idea?
Oh, I love breakfast burritos, man.
And then we got
Not a
we
big
got
East Coast thing,
we
which
got
is stupid.
ignorantly denied, saying, "Oh, breakfast burritos wouldn't be a thing in New York. I guaranteed that if they opened a cart, we opened a cart somewhere, not some whole store, but
And
a
don't
place where you
forget
can
tacos.
go. You
Don't
can go
forget the tacos.
in and
Breakfast
out.
tacos
You get
too.
breakfast tacos or pre-made breakfast burritos. When
Yep.
I worked in Manhattan, this guy came in
So
on the
good.
weekends, had a full cart of them. It's bacon, egg, cheese, potatoes, and then whatever sauce you want on it.
Little salsa.
It's incredible. Everybody on the West Coast knows this. So if there's anybody on the, even close to the
They're
West Coast, you're like, what the hell
yeah,
are you
they're
saying?
even
You're
confused that we're talking
you're
about.
you're speaking. Oh yeah, there's air outside,
listen,
and I need to breathe.
I love bacon, egg, and cheeses. I'm
Yes.
crazy. Sausage, egg, and cheese. Bacon,
Of
egg, and
course.
cheese. Give me all of it on an egg and cheese. I don't give a
Of
shit. I
course.
love it.
But
But oh man, I'm not saying it's better. But we should have the option here.
integrating things like crispy hash brown strips and stuff like
man,
that. You
crispy
can't do that on a
cheese
bacon,
and
egg, and cheese.
hash
Yeah, you can
browns.
try, but the way it all is perfectly rolled in the burrito
Oh
and the
my
cheese melted
God, you're
together,
making me so
it's
hungry.
incredible.
This is like dirty talk right now. You're talking food and wrapping things in tortillas
This is
and
what
shit.
that 42-year-old is saying. Like,
Ooh, baby.
and what I told my friends who they shoot every idea. You can come out. You could have came up with Uber. You think they want to get in your car?
Yeah, who's getting in your
Who's getting
car
in-
to go anywhere? And they're going to pay you for it?
Yeah. So you're showing up.
Cabs
You-
have existed forever. But they would shit on your idea of you driving anybody anywhere.
If my friends were on Shark Tank, you still would be waiting for the
Yeah.
first idea to be approved. Every single idea.
For that reason, I'm out.
Yeah. Oh, what do you mean for that reason?
Yeah.
I'm out.
He had a lot of good reasons for that. I'm out.
Everybody's out for every idea is dumb. And that's what we have to deal with. So what I said to them was, it's interesting. Somebody actually said to somebody else, hey, we're going to do these things called donuts, and then we're going to make a place. You just get coffee and these circular cakes called donuts. They said, what? Who's going to go to a place for donuts? Are you nuts taking this one cake and putting coffee there thinking, and now we're at Dunkin', and then eventually morph to Starbucks and everything. But anybody out there who's in that culinary world? Anybody who watches TV shows, right? Because that's what
everybody's a chef right now.
Yeah,
'cause
everyone's a chef.
The Bear. Everybody's watching The Bear.
So if you're watching The Bear and you now think you're qualified because that's what people do when
Yes,
they watch
chef.
TV shows,
That's what they're
you
saying.
go, you watched the menu on HBO. You go ahead and you open the breakfast burrito cart and just put something on there.
Put the Andy Francis burrito on there.
Yes.
Have an Andy Francis morning.
The Sniffin' is Believin' burrito, not brought to you
Sniffing burritos.
Vicks. Bastards.
You got to get a little Vicks patch.
But,
put on there.
do you know what we're talking about with TV shows? I mean, this is people in general. People think because they watch TV
Oh, yeah.
that it qualifies them.
Yep.
Like, the
I
acting
don't
on
need
Law
to
and Order
pass-
was
yeah.
bad. Oh, yeah, really? So the acting on Law and Order was bad. How do they fix it then? What should they do? Oh, just act more real. Great advice. But even more so when people, they get really involved with the show and they really become obsessed with it.
Yeah. Suits is a big one right now. Ask anybody who's, you watch, I'm watching Suits right now. Yo, yeah. Start talking law with them.
And now
They
they're
know.
out there.
They know it all. Forget it. Same deal. Cop shows, same thing. They know the laws now. I saw the show. I know the law. Same thing.
That's the whole premise of the Cable Guy, by the way. Like, he didn't have an upbringing with his parents, so he has this hilarious line. He goes, I had to learn the facts of life by watching the facts of life. So
Grey's Anatomy.
that's what a lot
How
of
many
people
years has
are.
Grey's Anatomy been out?
I can't
You
believe it's
talk
still
to
on.
somebody who's watched it from the beginning. They are like, they think they're a registered nurse. They're a doctor. They can do every job in a hospital. They've seen it all.
The one thing they probably get right on this show is that all the colleagues and coworkers all bang each other. That's
Yes,
my theory.
constantly.
That-
I mean, they're
that's my
working a
theory.
lot of hours together. They don't get a lot of time off. It's
Yeah.
a crazy job like that. Could you do that medical field? No.
Probably not.
Pass on the
Probably
medical
not.
field. It's too chaotic.
I don't know if, man, one little mistake goes a long way.
One
You ever-
little mistake. Well, what are you, like Kramer dropping a juju mint into that guy's stomach? And then they thought they killed him because he wasn't doing good. I just watched
You ever
that
hear
last night.
the real story of a guy who removed the wrong testicle from a man?
Oh my God.
He had one healthy testicle. They removed the wrong one. I mean,
Holy shit.
I don't know.
How old was the guy? You remember any of it?
It was like a Tom Green situation where he had
Oh,
testicular
my
cancer in
God.
one nut, and then they removed the wrong one.
Don't they put Sharpie on I had foot surgery. They put Sharpie down there on my right foot, showing that it was the right foot. Why didn't they mark up the nut? That was the one.
So
They put like a target on the
that's a
testicle.
hilarious task. Just
Yeah. Excuse me, nurse. I'm going to need you to go in there and Sharpie the, what is it? The right testicle, please.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
and a
just X
shriveled
marks
up
the spot.
sleeve. Oh my God. That's gross.
And he got the wrong nut. That's bad, man. That was,
God.
oof.
Not to put thoughts in your head like that, not to make you envision that stuff. But the only thing I could think even remotely disgusting like that was when I found out from some of our friends what they do for hemorrhoids, how they spread your ass cheeks like a prostitute. They tape your ass cheeks open. Like spread your cheeks is what they do. They bend you over a table and spread your ass cheeks with tape.
Oh my God.
I was like,
What
what?
the fuck?
Or do you think this is just a doctor with malpractice?
Jesus Christ. What
Are we
doctor?
outing somebody doing illegal activity?
Oh my God.
Bent over a table like that thing with the wax paper. By the way, can you get more
Ugh.
uncomfortable paper?
Get out
I
of
mean,
here.
my goodness.
This sounds awful, dude.
Do you know that wax paper?
Yeah.
I'd rather
Paper. The paper. That waxy crap. I hate it. I feel like sometimes they don't change it. If you didn't wrinkle it up too much, they leave it. You know?
What is it like?
They're
wings?
trying to cut back.
It's like
Cut
wings that
back
were
on the
not
paper.
touched.
Yeah.
I'm convinced wing places, if you don't touch those wings,
Oh,
they go to the back.
I just went to a Chinese restaurant tonight, and at the end, they gave us one orange cut into 4 pieces. We didn't touch any of them. Didn't even move the plate. Those people next to us, they got the orange. 100%. No doubt about it. They got dessert after us. They got the orange.
I'm going to start marking it like parking attendants. They chalk the back of your tire to know how long you've been there. If they come back around and still
Oh,
see you,
yeah.
they give you the ticket. I'm going to start, even if I don't eat something, just put a little smudge in one of those wings so I can cross-reference it. Hey, ladies and gents, it's week 1. There's a lot of stuff going on, but we still found time. We'll always find time for you. We'll be back once again next week. Hope you enjoyed a little bit of tomfoolery here. Hopefully the next time you guys see us, we're a little bit richer. We're a little bit happier because come Sundays, we're always enjoying ourselves. Not Saturdays because we're not watching these
Nope. Saturdays
Alabama versus Tennessee or Texas. Yeah, and go ahead. Some of you are laughing, saying we're missing. No, you're missing out. You're missing out on the true things, which are actually happening right here. All right, everybody, make sure you subscribe to the channel here. I obviously have my other content out on the Odd Shopper channel. You check that out there. All stuff all around. It's Andy Francess on all social media platforms: Twitter, X, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. I'm on it with that name. At Andy, the Country France SS. I will see you guys next week from me, Mr. Papa George.
Later.